The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
And now we break things down with Coach Mike Mincey here on the Eagles Sports Network. Lady Eagles fall in this ball game by a final score of 72-64. Coach Anderson, I think when you looked at it, 15 offensive rebounds, 14 second chance points here, even in that category at the beginning of the day. You probably would have taken that, but at the end of this game, what in your eyes was the biggest difference between a win and a loss?
Well, they did a good job of coming in, and, Braylon had 44 last time, so we knew that was going to be taken away from her. And Braylon had a hard time getting going early, obviously the whole first half, much better in the second half. But that second quarter, we had a lead there early in the second quarter, and I think it's just a run that they went on. I think we had some stuff that we could have certainly converted on, didn't. They converted on some stuff, and it was that run that they made there in the second quarter. And we struggled to score, just not very efficient on that end of the floor in the first half. And, ultimately I think that's the difference in the game. I mean, whether you outscore them in the second half or whatever, we never could – we got it back close, but we never could get that big shot to fall to kind of get enough pressure on them to try to get over the hump. We just certainly weren't able to get there today.
Harley Smith and Braylon Weichel combined to go 16 of 32 from the floor. The rest of the team – 9 of 37. Why was your team unable to find that third scoring option?
Well, I don't have that answer. I mean, I know that we were looking for our upperclassmen. We don't have a lot of upperclassmen anyway, so Harley and Braylon have been in this spot, and they've played these games, and it's good to see them step up and try to give us a spark offensively to try to do something. And then, Skylar was there at 3 of 7, so if you had hers, it's not very bad. But then when it gets down to our young kids, sophomores and down, the shooting wasn't very good. But they'll learn for this game, It's like I told them in the locker room. 12 months ago seems like it was just yesterday in a way. And 12 months ago we were riding high, and now we're not even going to advance to the semifinals. But everybody in that locker room's back next year, even the 2 injured kids, plus the 3 newcomers that we have coming in. So, our mind will start shifting to that immediately.
This was a frustrating year really from the get-go because even in USC-Aiken, that very first weekend, it felt like you were playing solid basketball, but you weren't playing the caliber of basketball that you expected.
Yeah.
You had the Lindsey Taylor injury. You go through that nice winning streak in the middle portion of the season. You go 10-2 in December and January, but just felt like you were always chasing something this season. What's your message to the team for this year, knowing that everybody is coming back?
Well, I mean, with any team, and we've tried not to we've talked about it, but we've tried not to make it an excuse. I mean, I told them the day that Lindsey went down there. I mean, Lindsey's a huge part of our basketball team. I mean, she's a reigning tournament MVP, and her play was a huge reason why we did as well as we did last year down the stretch. And when she went down game 3, did I think we were going to go 17-12, 12-6 in our division and win the division? I don't know. I don't know if I would have or not. Coming back from Detroit, I certainly wouldn't have. But I like how they gelled together. We tried different lineups, tried different groups. Person pretty much relied on a freshman in the starting lineup and then all either redshirt or true freshmen on the bench. But, I think to some degree they overachieved a little bit. We just were missing a couple things. And Lindsay's the big inside presence. And then, Michaela's competitiveness, and she's one of our best defenders. It's just certainly could have used both of their services if we're going to be fully stocked to try to make a run at anything. And they weren't here. And I told them I appreciated their effort. They could have – it looked like they were maybe going to get blown out of this game, but they didn't. They made it a game, got it back with the single digits. And I think had a chance there with a late 3 to cut it 2-3. Just didn't make the plays.
5 freshmen played in this one. A sophomore in Campbell Penland was another. So 6 of the 9 players that played were underclass players.
Yeah.
Moving into next season, I'm sure that this group's pretty excited for next year because you have Braylon Weichel with an opportunity to set the school's all-time scoring record. You have several players, including Lindsey Taylor when she gets back, with opportunities to get to 1,000 career points. Mm-hmm. How excited are you for the prospects of next season as you look into next year for the first time at this point in the year in 5 years?
Yeah. And even with this year, the NCAA tournament, an at-large bid was there for the taking if we would have done it, and I think we had enough pieces to actually do that. I don't know how successful we would have been when we got there, but we had enough pieces. Because you look at a lot of the teams that are in that are going to be in the regional. We were either very competitive with them or we beat them. Obviously, we're not going to be there, but we give them the 2 weeks off, and we'll get back in the weight room in 2 weeks, and starting tonight, starting tomorrow, the mindset has to shift to how this feels. Obviously, we know it doesn't feel good, but for a lot of these kids, they've always advanced or always made it to the NCAA tournament, and they don't get that this year. So super happy to have all of our pieces back in there. When you recruit and you recruit certain ways, that's what you expect to have. When you don't have it, you can have a struggling season or an up and down season like we had. We'll be back next year. I'm not real concerned about it. We'll be back, and we're one of very few teams that knows exactly what we have come August, and we're trying to make another run at a title next year.
Coach, been a good season. Appreciate everything that you've done for us. Best of luck moving forward. Hope you have some good time in the old hunting cage.
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
That's Coach Mike Mincey after Carson-Newman falls in the South Atlantic Conference quarterfinals by a final score of 72-64.